Hey, this is Notser, and this is the HMS Hood. Now, I just want to see the armor layout very quickly. Everything else I can answer in-game, but I just want you to see with your own eyes how the armor is laid out. 25 millimeters on the bow and the stern. That is actually very low. That can easily be overmatched by 358 caliber guns. So basically, every battleship in the game, shoot the bow if it's straight on. One quirk that I was noticing, because people just obviously can't see the armor layout, they don't have the ship, is that people, when I would angle like this, they would actually shoot here. And they're used to that, you know, that's a potential citadel point, but on the hood, it is actually a strength. You cannot get into the citadel by shooting this area. Not as easily as all of you think, so be very careful not to just go at this particular point. I saw, and I'm only bringing it up because I saw a ton of people do it. Its citadel is laid out similar to a Japanese, roughly. It's sort of complicated in its design system. You got 51 millimeters, and then on top of that, you've got another 305 millimeters. So roughly, and then on top of that, you got a torpedo bulge, which is 25 more. So, you know, 380-ish. And that seems okay. I was surprised with how tanky this ship was. I could be aggressive and engage targets, and they didn't citadel me as much as I expected. The weakness of the ship is the turret traverse, and we'll get into that in the game, but I just want to go over the armor. 51 millimeter deck, actually very strong. HE is going to shatter on this. It's straight up going to shatter on this. So yeah, if you're firing HE, you want to go for the superstructure. Or the bow and the stern. Good luck hitting those, by the way. You're not really going to hit those from range. But plunging fire, 51, it's just going to shatter on it. I would recommend, if you're a battleship, straight on AP, shoot the bow. If you are a cruiser, and you have a gun caliber greater than 155 millimeters, or greater than or equal to 155 millimeters, you can easily damage the bow and the shell won't shatter. If you have inertial fuse for the 152, you can also damage the bow. So shoot the bow with HE cruisers, AP battleships. Don't try and get cheeky and go after the citadel right here at the gun angle. It's actually a high armor zone comparable to others. Compared to others, it's very high armored. Citadel is not easy to get, but it is possible to get. And I think it's easier to get at medium to long range. That was my impression. I didn't really see a lot of people citadel me, but it is an early ship. You know, people just aren't familiar with how the weak point of it, clearly by the amount of people that are shooting me here. So let's go into the game and check her out for real. And here we are in the game. A couple stats that just jump out for the hood. A hell of a lot of health. That is tier 8 health pool, roughly. Very impressive health-wise. Speed, 32 knots, very quick. Rudder's very average. Guns, basically the Warspite guns. Same reload. Secondaries, very average. Surface detection, very average. AA defense, it's not impressive stat-wise, but you do have defensive fire, and when they attack you, it's going to be difficult to succeed. My build is very generic. Very generic. Accuracy, lower chance of flooded fire, faster rudder shift. Preventative maintenance, expert marksman, drill and rush, superintendent, vigilance, fire prevention, and concealment. That is basically the safest build you could go in a battleship. The tankiest build you could go. And that's the reason I didn't is I just wasn't confident in my gun systems. I couldn't shoot my way out of a problem like I could with a Scharnhorst. Or American battleships can definitely shoot themselves out of problems. But it really felt like I was dogging it a little bit with these guns. They just didn't feel... And by the way, I think I'm actually using the faster turret traverse in this match. Just to paint a picture for you. The Warspite base turret traverse is 72 seconds. The base turret traverse for the hood is 60 seconds. I can get it down to about 48 with the module setup that I previewed, but the actual build that's in this video is probably the faster turret traverse, longer reload. by 1.5 seconds. It gets it down to 43 seconds, which is better than 48. But I don't know that giving up the accuracy is worth it. Because, you know, I'm going to be quite honest, it really feels like when I'm using these guns, my turrets are traversing. That's one thing that's frustrating. The turrets just traverse very slowly. Also, whenever I fire my gun, I just feel like the guns are just a little less accurate than I really want them to be. And I'm sorry for thinking these ways. You know, I'm just trying to be as real as I can. I would not play this over the Scharnhorst at all. I would not. It feels like I'm using the Gneisenau. You know, the Gneisenau has large caliber guns. You know, you don't really have a lot of shells in the chamber, so each one has to count, and I don't think enough are counting. I'm really having a difficult time doing DPS. Now, I've developed skills throughout. This was fairly early on. I'm showing it because I get to kill a particular player that I enjoy immensely killing. Kami. Kami is a fellow community contributor, and yeah, there he is. You see him in the hood? Yeah, there you are, Kami. But I'm sharing it because it's got a good variety. Long range, mid-range, close range, and you get to see the AA in action. I felt like I had to finish that guy off. That's the kind of player I am. I will go after the kill rather than the damage. Just the way it goes. This Robotnik over here, we could rearm and go after him. He's a long destroyer, very long destroyer, but he's very low in the water, so I'm hoping we'll actually hit him. So the guns are set up. I'm just trying to spread the love around, and it looks like, yeah, we're okay. Not too bad. 2 kills. 13,000 damage. Not impressive at all, Notser, I know. So the Scharnhorst. I don't believe I can bow pin that guy. No, he has the same amount of armor plating as I do. So my guns can't pin his bow. His guns can't pin my bow. And I was considering, do I want to go after Kami or do I want to go after a French cruiser? Yes, my guns can definitely penetrate a French cruiser. And I love shooting French cruisers. Do you guys love shooting French cruisers? It's pretty fun, right? They're pretty... Okay, of course it misses. They're pretty squishy. Yeah, you're not helping with this. I'm trying to sell the ship. Of course it's going to miss. So, the ship. Accuracy leaves something to be desired. It is very consistent with its inconsistency from the gun standpoint, both in turret traverse and the shot dispersion. It's just the way it goes, right? Man, what's good about it? I love the speed. I love the speed. I do like the armor. I feel like the armor doesn't let it down. There are some battleships where you can feel like you really can't take a shot. Or you can't spend time engaged extensively with the target. You're just going to lose armor over the course and lose health, and you're just going to be dead. But not the hood. The hood really felt like if I angled appropriately, I could manipulate my advantages to the extreme because people are shooting it in the typical weak points that you would expect on the bow side, and that's the one place that I would say is my weakest point. I will show just a slight too much amount of bow when I'm angled, sort of like this right now, and the enemy will shoot, and it'll shoot right in front of the guns, trying to get into the citadel and just blow me up. Well, that's reinforced on this one, so it actually aligns well with that particular quirk in my play. However, the gun DPS is just not there. It's just not there. I think my highest damage game was like 105, 110,000. I would consistently get, I think, what's a good number? 60 to 75,000. Yeah, that's about it. And I could get kills for sure. I could finish targets off. But I didn't feel like I was contributing as much as I wanted to. In fact, it kind of felt like the guns were dipping just a hair before the norm, where I would normally aim and get the waterline. It would actually be a little bit too low. a good percentage, maybe 25 to 50% versus maybe 10 to 20 at the worst, would be dipping into the water. And you're probably not going to see me compensate for that in this game, but the hood was more successful whenever I was shooting about mid to top of the hull. Basically, shoot as if you're shooting Germans, and the gun would dip correctly down into the citadel if it was appropriate. Obviously, if it's a ship I can't citadel, well, I'm not going to citadel it. And the enemy over here, they're sort of boxing in, they're getting close together. Oh, love that dispersion. You just like, what do I have to do, game? What do I have to do? Do I have to be point blank with these guys? Because I'll do it, okay? I'm Notser. I'm crazy. I'll go. I'm not even afraid to go. So it's one of those things where it's like, man, you set up, broadside, feels good, miss. One of the most, oh, here we go. The defensive fire, we're going to see how well it protects us from the enemy aircraft. Oh, it's a Frenchie. They have no armor. This should be great. Notice the front guns are still traversing. That is basically what happens if you turn the ship too much. 50% of your guns are always traversing. So you have to be going out wide. You need to be on the outside, so you always have your guns facing starboard or port. You can't angle and change the flank as easily as a German, for instance. But we were able to protect ourselves friendly a little bit. Defensive fire is appreciated. You know, some people don't run it anymore. It's a bonus module on this ship. Oh my god, some of these shots are not as good as I would like them to be, but also some of the shells dispersion is so bad. Like, not even in the same real estate bad. I can't even buy myself a little bit of damage. Good. Teammates are able to take him out. He sets me on fire. I am using fire prevention. Now, the reason I put that fire out, nobody else is going to be slinging HE at me. I take those risks in order to get the cooldown back up for something more dangerous. Everything near me is either a battleship or it is an aircraft carrier. And the aircraft carrier is going to take a while to get out to me. And there's Kame. We're going to go after you, Kame. There can only be one hood. I have to be the mediocre tier 7 battleship. And I'm sorry, but Nagato feels good. The Colorado guns feel good. Yeah, they have the same amount of guns, but I believe the Colorado has a larger caliber. And it feels like, at least, the shells fly more predictable on the Colorado. So he's on the corner. We're just shooting into him. We're just trying to get some chip damage. Team has done a great job. With or without us, team has done a great job. But the Nagato, Scharnhorst, Gneisenau, I love those ships. They play well. They play great. The Colorado's weak point is its speed. Outside of its weak point, it's a pretty solid ship. But speed is a big deal when you're talking about tier 7s going up against an Iowa who is 34 knots, 36 knots, roughly, or 35 knots with the signal flag. I mean, you're giving up so much objective play, repositioning. You just get overrun. So this does not get overrun. This can move to different flanks. This can be maybe a super heavy cruiser. Its accuracy just leaves something to be desired. If they could change one thing, I would change the guns. I would just make them feel better. Whatever you have to do, make them feel better. Improve the speed slightly. I know that's sort of a trait, that they're slow. Improve the consistency of the shell placement. That would also make it feel better. I love the speed. You know, armor's solid. Armor's solid. You can see the way I'm angled against the Colorado. It's sort of, you know, it's sort of opening up maybe a little bit too much now. And let's see where he fires. Usually, well, where the heck was that going? Was that going? Oh, he wanted to kill the friendly Colorado. Well, that's great. But this angle right here, you see where those guys are trying to place their shots? They're not really going to get a lot of success shooting the side of the bow. They need to shoot directly on. And I'm shooting the top of the Colorado. I don't really remember the armor. Yeah, 25. So I can... I cannot... Yeah, I can overmatch his bow armor. Yeah, we have this Congo, point blank. I'm maintaining as well angled as I can. You can see I just need to wiggle just slightly to bring all the guns on, which isn't too bad. Fire at the waterline. I'm looking for that citadel. A lot of dip. 50% of the shells dip there. Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one. And now we're going to re-angle against our target. So now we're in kind of a dangerous spot. Use defensive fire against the enemy torpedo bombers. We're going to see if it protects us. And I really wanted to see if I saw any rockets fire. If you see rockets firing, please tell me. I think it's 1.5 that the rockets are supposed to go off. Speed is your friend to outrun some of these torpedoes as well. People don't recognize or respect the speed. Obviously, they probably don't know that you're fast, but 32 knots is really fast. And obviously, this is dangerous. But maintaining good angle, I want to take Kami out so bad. I wonder if Kami can feel it. You're going down, Kami. I know your weak point. That is not the weak point. You see, I shot at the superstructure. His angle, if I would have shot at the bow, it probably would not have pinned and done damage. But since I went superstructure, I did enough damage and killed him. Before he could, I don't know, maybe, I don't know how Kami works. Kami, would you actually try and ram me? Would that have been a legitimate tactic that you would have used? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, he's dead. We've got 4 kills. We're looking for our 5th kill. Haven't really done the damage to go along with it, but we've done a good enough job for our team, I think. Very interesting game. Long, medium, short range. Defensive fire is okay for protecting you. We got 5 kills, 88,000 damage. Armor holds up when it counts, good angling. The turrets traverse forever, though. That will be the weakest point. It will continue to be the weakest point. And that's why the ship is frustrating. It is uncomfortable to play. That would be the area that I would target. The turrets, the guns. Just slightly improve the feeling. Maybe the shells are more consistent with where they land. Just make it a little bit better feeling. We were top on the team, 1,593 base XP. Not in damage, though. I'm sure not in damage. You know, the guns, I mean, 2 million was shot at us, basically, between torpedoes, all that stuff. I think that's impressive. I think that's very impressive. And that's a pro for me, is its tankability. It seems to take a lot of damage. Although it can't shoot its way out, so that's probably why. Either way, it was a pleasure to check out the hood. Hopefully you can see a hood out there, and we'll talk more about it in the future, of course. I really appreciate you checking out my content. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.